Yeah, you sound good. I don't think your mic need. Oh, nice. I don't think your mic needs to be quite as far as it used to be, but that's a good. That's a good. I think that's a good.
That's a good. That's a good. Hey,
That's
that's
a good.
good.
That's a good.
That's a good. By the way, that's a good.
A couple of things. I'm gonna be in the dark because I think you can still see me, and I look better in the dark. And also, another thing, guys, there is some background noise of females laughing because India has some guests around, but we move forward
Girlfriends.
and we do our own thing. One of them is pregnant and one of them is engaged, and that's life now.
That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say.
Bop, bop.
You know what that song reminds me of?
Go on.
Casper.
Is it in Casper?
It's in Casper. 100% it's in Casper, yeah.
Is that so? Is Casper just the film? Like that's where that came from.
I think so.
Is there a cartoon series too?
It's Christina Ricci, isn't it? As a young girl.
That rings a bell. It's not Tim Burton, right?
That's a great question.
He's looking up. He's looking up.
I'm gonna have to look now, aren't I? It's all your bloody fault.
Was that one of your favourite?
I love that movie. I need to watch that again. It's fucking phenomenal. 1995. That came out the same year I was born.
Yeah. I feel like Ghostbusters is a bit more of a cult classic than that. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
I know what I mean.
What was I looking up for Casper? If it's like where that originally came from.
Yeah, and director.
Origin. Casper comes from Gasper, which comes from the ancient Chaldean word for treasurer.
Mm.
If you
That's
love
word
the
origin, right?
subtly spooky vibes of the name, but want a different spelling, it can also be spelled. Okay.
I'm thinking more. Was it a comic book? Was it a book? Was it a? You know what I mean? Would you like me to look it up?
There's actually a video. It says Casper History and Origins.
Oh, all right, we'll move on. I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Jay, what if you had to rank the most what would you call that? Is that a meme or a GIF? Like
what is?
So is the GIF just the
meme.
act of putting words over the moving image or still image?
The meme.
So what's a GIF?
I guess the same thing, but usually it's only like a very small section of like a thing instead.
Sure.
Usually not very long.
Sure. What do you think that is the most influential meme of all time? Because I think I've got the answer.
Meme?
Stay with me, Jay. Stay with me, Jay. Come on. He's here. Come on.
I mean, there's loads.
Well, I think I've got an answer for you.
Go on then. There's too many. There's literally too many. I mean, yeah. I mean, that one's very recent.
Is it?
Definitely more. That's like
2015?
14, 15 maybe.
Sure.
A bit more recent than.
For those who aren't watching the video because we haven't got video right now, I did the looking in the camera, pointing at your head like
temple, basically.
Yeah. Don't know what that's from, but there we are. Jay, it was
a comedic thing on like Channel 4, I think. This guy, he's like a comedy actor, but he does like this rapping thing. It's like he plays a character.
Like a Sacha Baron Cohen type thing.
He has a list.
Oh, cool.
That's like his whole thing, and he's like, that's like his. Have you not seen that show? It's a really funny show.
Is it old?
Again, I think it's like 2014, 2015 maybe.
Oh, okay. Fair play.
Good show though. I recommend it.
Cool. All right, Jay, let's crack on. We've got a lot to talk about, and we've delayed recording long enough. So welcome one and all to the TGO show, where me and Jay like to talk about video games. Jay's also known as Golidlocks Gamer, though I'm ever increasing my paranoia that Jay is playing games too fast. But obviously that's subjective.
Efficiently, is what I like to say.
Efficiently. That is very much true.
Yeah.
Jay, let's just get straight into it.
Okay.
What have you been playing?
Not a lot. I mean, since the last time we spoke, Wolong was sort of like the main thing, you know?
Well, hold on. Let's just hold on a big dandy minute here. When we
Damn.
last recorded, did you give us the full deets of how far you'd gone with Wolong?
I think last time we
Oh,
spoke,
hold on, sorry, mate. This is embarrassing. Yeah? No, thank you. Thanks.
I think last time we did the podcast, I was about to start playing it. Like, I think it was literally the day before, right? And the day it came out was the 3rd of March. And I think we recorded on the 2nd.
Wow, that's a long time ago. Really?
Hang on, let me double check.
Please.
The 2nd was a Thursday, so we actually recorded.
That sounds right? Because
We
it would have
recorded
come
on
out on
the
a
5th.
Friday. Oh.
So, actually, I'd been playing it for like a day or two. I actually think I finished it fairly shortly after that. No, it took me a week. It took me a week to finish. I finished on the 10th. But yeah, it's surprisingly good. And I even got you to start playing it, which was cool.
Yeah. Well, let's just say it as it is, Jay. You've completed it. You've 1000G'd it. You've
I
played
have,
it
and
to
it
the
was
brim.
actually fairly. I did it in about 34-ish hours. Yeah, about 34
That's
hours.
Jay. That's a really nice length for a AAA
It
game.
was perfect. Yeah, it was really. It was like, if had it been any longer, it probably would have been a bit annoying, but it would have been doable. I
Especially
think
for
Elden
us.
Ring is definitely longer than that.
Oh, definitely.
Bloodborne is definitely longer than that.
You reckon?
It's probably like 40, depending on how much you want to get done.
Sure,
Like the
DLC and
thousand
stuff.
G it, not including
Yeah,
DLC. The 1000G, you're talking.
40, 50.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'd probably say so.
So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from the maker. This is Team Ninja, not to be confused with Ninja Theory.
Yeah, I always get them confused.
And they previously made Neo and Neo 2, big hits on PlayStation exclusives. We've now got Wolong, which ironically is a Game Pass day one game, but also on other platforms. But interestingly, they're also making that Ronin game, which is the Japanese equivalent, which is actually a PlayStation exclusive.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be sick.
But in terms of Wolong, Jay, so just to filter through the noise very briefly, obviously a lot of the reviews that have come in have said, yeah, this game's okay. It's got issues, like maybe not as good as Neo 1 and 2. And then I think I spoke to you and you were like, yeah, no, I really like this game, Nick. And I was like, really? Are you sure, Jay? Like, it's getting 6s and 7s across the board here. Like, what's going on? And then before I know it, obviously you're knee deep into it. But I think that the opinions balanced out a little bit. I think people were a little bit harsh on it when it came out. I don't know what you think.
I don't know about harsh. I seem to feel like it was fairly well received. I'm pretty sure. I mean, even on Steam, I think it got like mostly positive.
Interesting.
From what I can remember, I'll double check that, but I have a feeling it has a very, very good amount of reviews on it.
Well, let's have a look.
So I think it might be one of the most underrated games of this year so far.
If we look at Metacritic's looking around an 80, so not that means anything. Yeah. Oh,
That's
see, this is one of those interesting things, Jay. On Xbox, we've got a 79 Metacritic and an 8.5 user score. So, Lord knows they're getting bigger in terms of the differences between them.
I've found nowadays that if a game can go like mid 70s and above on Metacritic, it tends to be a pretty good game.
Yeah,
Anything
I think
below
right.
that, there's something usually wrong with it.
So tell us everything, Jay. Tell us why you like the game.
I
want it all.
I mean, it's kind of hard. Like, when I played the demo, I really didn't like the combat. Like, I couldn't quite get it properly. Like, it didn't really work. But then when I thought to myself, well, I'm in the mood for like that sort of Souls-like game right now. It came out at the perfect time. I think I just finished. What was I playing before Wolong? Damn it. I can't remember what it was now. What was it, February? What came out? What was I playing? There was something pretty major, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Why can I not remember? Well, anyway.
Was it? Well, no, Hogwarts. Hogwarts Legacy.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So I literally just finished Hogwarts, and I needed something to move on to, and that would came out like the next day, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the fact, obviously, it's on Game Pass is a lovely bonus, right?
Man, yeah, it's definitely one of those games I would not have bothered had it not been on. Well, actually, they are mixed on Game Pass. Yeah, it's actually 46% of 15,000 reviews are mixed
It's quite a lot.
on Steam, which is weird.
Joe, I'm getting conflicting opinions in terms of, is this essentially Neo 3? I feel like you've played the first two games,
No, it's
right?
definitely not Neo 3. It's definitely has that kind of thing about it though. Like there's definitely aspects of it where you're like, oh, the guys who made Neo clearly made this game. That makes
Sure,
sense.
sure.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Jay,
the story's great too because I mean, you didn't you said you didn't really like the story. I mean, I skipped past most of it. I sort of got the gist. But the whole thing is the Three Kingdoms, which I'm a massive fan of because I played the Total War Three Kingdoms game.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm a massive fan of that story in general. Of like China, I think it was like 541 or maybe before that. Actually, I think it was like 180 something AD. But yeah, it's a good story. But they made it sort of like into like a mythical, sort of god-like type story with like creatures and spirits and stuff. So that was pretty cool. So the story wasn't terrible. I think it was fine. Combat, like, amazing. Like when you get that like perfect parry or like deflect, it's just so satisfying. And I was even explaining to you about how like you need to learn how to get good at this game to actually get anywhere with it. Like you can't like cheese your way through the game. I mean, you can, but it's a lot harder. Like you really need to actually get good at it. And I appreciate that because it made me like actually bother to learn. But it wasn't like too difficult. I think had it been too difficult, I probably would have given up. But yeah, no, it's just very satisfying.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
how much have you played of it? I haven't even bothered to look. You
Yeah,
played like a
sure.
couple hours or whatever.
Yeah, a couple of hours. I did the first boss,
Mm,
which a lot of people are saying. I think you
very difficult.
included that's sort of the the barrier of entry, shall we say?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, oh, Jade, I've got to be honest, right? Something stuck out of my mind while I'm playing this game. So, firstly, you were right. It's definitely worth playing. It's 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 a perfect example of, just because the game's good and not great or excellent or fantastic or the best doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. And
Mm.
you're usually right about those games. What I'd also say, Jay, is this to me reeks of a launch title. Like
Oh yeah,
everything
no, that's
about
a good
it.
point. Actually, I didn't even think about that.
Like the graphics, the gameplay, like the story kind of being, average, but there if you want it, if you do kind of want to get involved. I think the voice acting is bad, but just everything about it, the fact it's day one on Game Pass, it just makes me feel like it's a launch game.
Yeah, you just made a really excellent point. Actually, it does feel like this game could have come out at sort of like the beginning of uh, the Series X's lifespan. It would have done very, very well.
100%, and
With a
everyone
lot of
would always remember it
gameplay.
in that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Jay, are you playing Diablo?
I am playing Diablo.
Okay, all right. Yes. So
I'm listening. Don't worry.
I think I like it.
That is good.
So I'm gonna keep playing it when I get time, but you obviously liked it a
Recommend.
lot.
I
I
got
assume
to
you
level 120, I think.
that's quite
And I
high.
think New Game Plus requires that you at least be like a level 110, I think.
Okay.
But New Game Plus in this game is actually fairly cool. They did it in a quite a cool way where you don't actually have to like start a new game. You basically just play the game over but harder. But like you don't have to like you don't technically don't have to restart. You basically like you still got all your gear, everything's still the same, but there's like an added bit on the map that says change difficulty and it just changes the map. That you're like nothing like you literally everything is the same. It's just the map changes very slightly from like easy to hard or whatever.
So you
So I thought it
retain
was
all your
so
stuff, right?
smart. Yeah, like it's just like the way they went about it was perfect.
I don't know how you mean, Jables.
It's really hard to explain. Like imagine you've seen the map in that game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
you had that map.
Yeah.
You press a single button,
Yeah.
and the map then changes to like a slightly more sinister color, and
Yeah.
everything's now harder. So you basically redo all the same missions, but they're just harder.
Does it not sort of scale with your level, so to speak?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like technically, the levels are whatever level it says it is. So like, I think the first one is like level 106 or something.
Right. Okay.
So it recommends that you be at level 106.
Is there any new content on New Game Plus at all?
Yeah. So in the game, the max like level of gear you can get, I think, was 4 star,
Sure.
which is like a gold type
And
color.
you can get 5-star on New Game Plus.
And yeah, on New Game Plus you can get 5 star. So
Cool. All right.
it kind of requires that you do.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts about it now you finished it? Are you Because again, I don't mean this to come out as an insult, but I think it's a forgetful game. But that doesn't mean you don't enjoy it while you play it, if you know what I mean.
Sure. I mean, what do I think of it now? I mean, looking back on it, it kind of like it gave me a similar sort of feeling to what I was like after I played Guardians, where I was like, that was really, really satisfying, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
remember it forever. But I don't really like. It's not like much to write home about necessarily.
Sure.
Does that
Sure.
make any amount of sense? I
Yeah. Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
even.
Totally.
I don't
So,
even know.
I meant to ask you as well. Are you going to get the season pass, or are you not
Yeah,
bothered?
I looked at it and went, "Ooh, do I want to do it?" But I think it's one of those things where I might come back to it later. I mean, it's up in the air, really. I wouldn't say it's a definitive, but
Might be worth getting it on sale, which I'm sure it will be at some point.
yeah. I mean, I think it's 20 quid.
It's quite a
I
lot,
want
isn't
to
it?
say.
They must see, Jay, an increase of people who play the game and then buy the season pass for games on Game Pass.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because, like, you've got all these people playing it for free. So I'd imagine a lot of them are going, yeah, all right, I'll get the season pass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think that's funny because I think my first instance of that was when I played 5. That was the latest one. Dirt 5, you could get it on Game Pass, but if you wanted to buy the year one pass, it cost like 16 quid or something. And it basically just gave you like all the bonus stuff that you would have got had you paid a lot of money for the special edition or whatever.
Sure, sure.
So I was like, oh, I'll grab that. So I did. And I played some of the extra stuff, and that was really good.
Mm,
I'm glad I did, to be honest.
mm. And what else are you playing? Or, well, let's talk about what you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 4.
Diablo 4. So yeah, last weekend was the closed beta, or I should say the early access beta, which you could only get access to had you pre-ordered the game. I mean, you could have played it on Sunday, and if you only pre-ordered it on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, like so, the second you pre-ordered it, you were able to play for however long it was on for, and that was good. So they only released 3 characters though of the 5 classes that you're able to play in Diablo 4. So the ones they released, or the ones that you were able to play last weekend, were Sorcerer, Barbarian, and Rogue. And I knew that of the 3 characters, the ones I wanted to try the most were Barbarian and Rogue. So I managed to get both of those characters to level 25.
Did you know that from your research?
Um, yeah, it was kind of like a mixture of research and also that I'm just not a massive, like I'm just bored. I've told you this before about how I'm just bored of playing mage characters that are like all about fireballs and electricity.
Sure,
That's just so boring to me. I hate that archetype of class now.
sure,
Like I don't
sure.
know how, like, but a barbarian and a rogue just isn't boring to me, even though they probably seem more boring. I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
they're just hitting things, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean they're doing it in a unique way, I guess, but I don't know. It's funny because sorcerer is definitely probably the strongest class in the game right now, which is quite funny if you ask me.
Well, let's
But
just start from the beginning, Jay.
there we are.
Like we haven't. By the way, it's really cool. I don't know if you guys know, but Jay sends a photo when he platinums a game, and it's cool. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
It's what
I
it
mean
is.
that's just I
It's just
might
another
as
day at the
well.
office. I know.
Yeah.
No, let's just start back from the beginning and just pretend like you haven't spoke to me about Diablo 4. I want to know. Tell us about Diablo 4. Is it good? Is it great?
Yeah, so initially, it's weird. It's kind of like a game that you have to it has to grow on you a little bit because I think it had been so long since I'd played Diablo 3. I didn't actually remember how bad Diablo 3 actually is or how it looks in
Whoa,
comparison.
whoa. We talk
No,
about
trust
graphics.
me. Ooh, fuck me. The difference is insane.
What, even
Like
Reaper of Souls
it's
edition?
like imagine what you think Diablo 3 looks like in your mind, and then that's what Diablo 4 looks like. But it's like if you look at
I
a
get you.
graphics comparison, it's like ridiculously different.
Yeah, sure. As in, just like a remake. When they remake a remake, you go,
Yes, it honestly looks
yeah.
like the difference between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 4 remake.
Are we talking that dramatic?
Yes, that dramatic.
Okay, okay, all right.
Like the
All right.
graphics are fucking phenomenal. But
Okay,
it doesn't seem that way initially, I will say.
sure,
You kind of have to like get there,
sure,
I guess.
sure.
But it definitely does get there. It's definitely a bit of a grower though, which is an odd thing to say about a Diablo game, but it is weirdly. I don't know how.
Instead of that immediate sort of loot hit, basically.
Yeah, it definitely goes back to its Diablo 2 roots. It's a
Sure.
lot more like Diablo 2 than it is Diablo 3, and Diablo 2 is a very very hardcore Diablo.
Mm,
Like you had to, people who played Diablo 3 would not play Diablo 2. Let's just put it that way.
sure.
Um, so yeah, I'm kind of glad I've done that too, because
Wait, you mean because like it's just too hardcore, like, or in
um,
terms of players wouldn't play it, or
yeah, I think it's almost like a Souls version of Diablo, if that makes sense.
sure.
Like it's very yeah, it's just sort of known for being a
That
much
remake
harder.
didn't do very well, right? The Diablo 2 remake.
Yeah, no, I did fairly well.
Okay. I got the
People are still
impression it
playing
was
it.
it got received pretty poorly actually, and it had quite a few problems.
I don't know. I didn't really see that. I don't think.
Okay. So you're saying it's a grower. Is it
Mm,
as good as Diablo 3? Like, does it live up to the Diablo name? Because we're talking about a very important game here, Jay. Like, we're talking about a StarCraft, a World of
yeah,
Warcraft expand. Like,
I
this is a big game.
I think it is better. I mean,
Obviously,
it
this is
is
just the
better.
beta, right? This is so
But yeah, I mean, you get to play a fifth of the game though,
a fifth.
like the entirety of a fifth of the game.
That is quite a lot, isn't it?
Yes, it's like at least 30 hours of content.
Hmm.
You could probably get 30 hours out of it. I mean, just because as you can play multiple characters, but if you were
Sure.
just playing one character, it'd probably be more like 15.
It's funny you say that, Jay, because I don't know if I told you, but I remember playing the original Diablo 3 demo like 4 times over because I loved it that much. So it sounds like you're having a similar experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And
Okay.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention there was a world boss on Saturday afternoon.
Mhm.
So if you got to max level, you were able to. I mean, you could do it at any level, but you needed to be max level to be able to kill the thing. I'll tell you that right now.
Sure.
So it's basically this giant dragon, like pestilent dragon, poison dragon that spawns in, and you have to a group of like I think you can have up to 12 people have to fight this thing. So I joined a clan, and then I got to the dragon. I just invited a bunch of people, and we just beat this thing. And we did it with like 5 minutes. You get 15 minutes to kill the thing. We did it in 10. So
Nice.
we were doing a lot of damage. We were doing a hell of a lot of damage.
Nice. So, look, listeners will know this, okay?
Hmm.
New people will not, but you know, Jay, obviously you're very positive about games when you play them. I think that's fair. I don't think I'm being out of order to say that. So I'm just trying to get a gauge of, well, what's Jay going to say about this demo or beta in a month's time, 2 months' time? You know what I mean?
I'm going to be saying, why am I not able to play this game right now? Do you know what's funny? There's actually been a couple of people on Twitter who have said that they wish that you could play this early access, where the beta was basically left for us to play for the next 2 months, but you could only get as far as you can get in the beta now.
Sure,
So
sure.
you basically can just play it for 2 months.
And then
The
carry
way
your progress
in the
over,
current
sort of.
build it's currently in, and then yeah, carry your progress over
Yeah,
it.
totally. I thought we were getting to a good place in the industry where a lot of the demos were going to carry progress over, but it looks as though
Yeah, it's
we've.
funny actually. So the last week's beta, the progress of that carried over to this beta, but this beta doesn't progress over to the main game.
That's so strange.
But I did get I haven't got them yet, but I will have guaranteed my rewards. So if you got to level 25, and if you beat the world boss, you get 3 rewards for the in game when it does finally arrive.
Cool.
You get
Okay.
a cosmetic item, which is basically a black puppy, but the puppy is constantly sleeping inside of like a backpack on your back that you can see inside of.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
basically like this really cute little black puppy inside of this like bone backpack that you can just look at constantly. So that's one of the rewards. And
Sure.
then the other two rewards I think are just titles. Because in the
Okay.
game you can have like a dual part title where you can have like if you do like a certain challenging game, it'll give you a reward of a title. So I think my title is currently like brutal killer,
Okay.
whereas you can change it like brutal bandit or whatever. You know, you can change the first word and the second word into any combination of what you have available.
Sure.
And I think you get some special ones if you participate in the beta and get to max level. So
So you'll be getting this day one then? What? Oh yeah. Will you be getting this day one?
I mean, I've already bought it, so yeah.
Okay.
Why are you sighing for?
Shouldn't pre-order games, Jay.
Well, that's the only way I could get into the beta.
No, it's not. It's a public beta now.
Previously, the first beta you could only get into if you pre-order the game.
That's how they get you, Jay.
Yeah, well, I'm playing it. Trust me, it's
I'm
that
got.
good.
No, that's fine. You've obviously it's all good. I'm winding you up. Okay. All right. Understood. So we'll just wait and see how Diablo 4 plays out. I think a lot of people have got a lot of strong opinions on this for a beta, mate.
I mean, I've sort of I'm following some sort of Diablo 4 people now, like people who are like known for that stuff.
Mhm.
So I will, I'll be keeping a close eye on it now.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Let's move on to what else you've been playing. What else would you like to talk about?
Um, what have I been doing?
You've
That's the
got
question. What have I got?
my games I plan on playing.
Yeah, so we'll quickly just talk about Resident Evil 4.
Please.
That came out today.
Oh wow! Can you
Uh,
imagine going home to that, Jay?
yeah, I know. It's funny. Like, Resident Evil games are games I like to watch other people play and not play myself. It's much more satisfying that way, I found.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
so weirdly, actually, I did that thing what I usually do sometimes, where I got home yesterday, and I had to work. I don't get headaches. I used to get headaches constantly, and then since I got glasses, don't really get them that much anymore.
Wait,
Makes
what? Yeah.
sense.
No, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Um, and I got a really, really bad one last night, which is kind of good thing we didn't do the podcast last night because I would have hated it.
Okay.
I had to take a pill and go to sleep early, so I did that. I woke up about 10:30. I looked at my phone and I got a notification saying Max has started playing Resident Evil. So I was like, oh shit, I'll start watching that. So for about an
Oh,
hour and a
and you just
half,
watched the stream, did you?
yeah, for about an hour and a half, I watched him play it. So I didn't watch him play the whole thing,
Sure.
but yeah, I thought I'd just catch the initial part of it. So that's pretty
Sure.
cool. But yeah, man, I think, I mean, reviews are all 10 out of 10s. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen anything under it so far.
Yeah.
I might have seen a 9 or a 9.5, but I mean, this game is definitely in contender for Game of the Year. 100%. This, I'm not joking. This might be the one of the better graphical games I've seen of this year too.
Yeah. Sure.
Like it's next level good, and the amount of combination stuff you can do on PC in terms of like tweaking the graphics and how much CPU it takes up is like really fine tuned. Like it's kind of amazing what they've done with this game. Like really like impressive. Like I'm genuinely impressed by this game.
This
But
is.
I don't know when I plan to watch the whole playthrough because I'm still debating on whether I want to watch Elijah do it, who's like a known speedrunner for stuff like this. So what he does is he'll do a first playthrough and then he'll probably like do a playthrough where he tries to speedrun it quickly. Or I want to watch Max. I think I might just watch the other guy to be honest because I think he's more fun. Max is fine, but I think the other guy's just more fun for me.
Dude, Max is the best. You love Max.
He is, yeah, but I watch him because of his love of it, but I'll watch the other guy because of how efficient he is with it. Like you
Okay.
know me, I'm all about efficiency.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But he
Quite
is extremely funny. This other guy is extremely funny.
fair.
He's Swedish, so
I'm from
that helps.
Sweden. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Dude, it's very exciting to just be around when a game like this comes. You know, we've talked about it before, even with Elden Ring. Was that last year now, man? Time's crazy.
Mm.
You know, Capcom's killing it. They've delivered and then some apparently with this game, which is incredible. It's just awesome to be around while the games like this come out, you know? And this is the sort of game which genuinely makes me just think, you know what, maybe I should just go home and get it. Like, it just looks so good. It's hard to debate just not going home and buying the damn thing
I did the
sometimes.
same thing Resident Evil 2, which funnily enough, all the Resident Evils currently are like super cheap. They got a massive
Yes.
sale on. I don't know if the
Yeah.
sale's ended now, but I think you could have got Resident Evil 2 for like a fiver. And I was
Yeah.
like, what? The deluxe
Yeah.
edition was like £8, and I was like, fuck me, that's so worth it. But
100%.
I don't like playing those games as much. They have a similar sort of feeling to like a Souls-like game, where there's like a challenge and you have to be good at it and accuracy and
But you like Souls likes.
inventory management. Yeah, I do like that kind of stuff, but I just don't think I would want to be in the mood for playing it for too long.
No, fair
I
enough.
don't know.
Fair enough.
It's one of those games that I know I don't have to pay for. Like, I'm glad I don't have to because I can get all the enjoyment out of watching someone else do it. So,
I get it. I get it.
and
And
I'm
you're
very happy
planning
about
and you're planning to play some other stuff then?
that. Yeah, so I actually made a list last night of all the games that are like releasing and like made like a calendar of like what I'm gonna buy or not buy or whatever.
Nice. Jay, you're not going to buy any till they're out, are you? Joking.
What do you mean?
Anyway, carry on.
Duffer. Yeah, I was just sort of like trying to like weigh out sort of my time in between games of like what I have to do, in between each and how much time I have.
Mhm.
And I was just thinking about. I mean, I've got a week to play Dead Island 2. I've got how many days are in April? Hang on.
By the way, Dead Island 2, mate, like, just I know it sounds good and everyone's like, it's an actual game, it's not broken as we can see it, but just be wary of that game, okay, Jay? Because it's still been in
Why are you
development for like
warning
10
me?
years. Sorry?
I thoroughly enjoyed Dead Island 1. Even if it was just the same as Dead Island 1, I'd still enjoy it.
I know, but I don't want you
This
to
could
do it.
literally be the same graphics as Dead Island 1 and I'd still play it.
Sure. I don't want you to buy it. And then like a week later, you're like, oh yeah, I should didn't buy that actually. It only lasted like 20 hours, and it was okay.
Well, I'm probably going to play through it a couple times. We'll see.
I'm not trying to fight you on it. I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm
Okay.
trying to keep your best interests at heart, believe it or not.
Which is the enjoyment of games, right?
And money and the enjoyment of
And
money.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, Dead Island 2, I've got a week to play. Jedi, I've only got 4 days to play, and then Redfall comes out.
Oh mate. Okay, so hold on a
So
minute.
that's going to be a
Are you
tough one.
buying Jedi? Or are you gonna
I
leave it?
don't know yet. I think I will, but I don't know if I want to buy it right away.
You can't be playing that game in 4 days. It deserves longer than that,
No.
you know.
Yeah, I think I might have to leave that. We'll see. And then between Redfall and Diablo, there's technically exactly a month because I've obviously bought the one where you get 4 days early access anyway. So
But you bought Redfall.
no, Diablo.
Oh right, sorry.
Diablo. If you bought the Diablo edition, one of them gave you a 4 day early access. I'll be playing that on the 2nd of June rather than the 6th.
Oh, understood.
So I've got exactly a month to play Redfall, which is more than enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that a date? I know it's coming to Game Pass, but is that an absolute day one gonna?
Yes, I will. Had I bought Jedi and not finished it, I would have put down Jedi and started playing Redfall. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, and what about? Do you have any idea of how much you're gonna play Redfall? If you're gonna complete it or
Yeah, I plan on playing it for a while, but I mean, it just depends, right?
on the game, right?
Yeah, if there's some sort of end game loop, then I'll probably keep playing it. If there isn't, then I probably won't bother. I don't know.
It definitely looks like there
Yeah, I'm hoping there's
is.
some sort of end game loop.
Yeah.
Like you can do like raids and dungeons and stuff. FF16 on the 22nd of June.
Oh yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's a day one at the minute.
Jay, what are you chatting about? The last two core Final Fantasy single player games are like on our top tens. Not really,
is
but you know what I
true.
mean. They are for you, but not.
I think it's just because I'm not in the mood for it yet. I think near the time I'll be in the mood for it. Like I wasn't in the mood for Diablo until the beta came out.
Sure.
I just was not in the mood. Like, I did not see myself playing it at all. And then the
So
beta came out, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll be playing that."
maybe it's the influence of thousands of other people participating in a similar
Online
activity.
talking about it, yeah,
Exactly.
it's just kind of what it was.
Yeah.
And then after that, Exo Primal comes out in July, middle of July, and it's on Game Pass day one.
Huh. Cool.
So initially that wasn't on Game Pass, and I was like, I'm probably going to miss that. But now it's on Game Pass, I'll be playing that.
Sweet. Sweet.
The only thing that's actually out after that, other than something else we'll be talking about later, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game,
Okay.
which I saw is coming to Game Pass, and I was like, maybe I'll give that a go. Maybe I won't.
Is that going to be like a Dead by Daylight one?
Yeah, similar. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So that's
Yeah.
that's my list so far. I've got some others, but we'll talk about that later
Okay.
because we're gonna come to that.
Jay, you're missing a game off that list, but rightfully so because of the
I
release
am.
date.
Yes,
You know what that game is?
I do.
What game is that, Jay?
A Starfield.
Oh no, actually, I wasn't thinking of Starfield.
What are you thinking?
And there's actually another qualifier as well. I was thinking of. Well, do you mind if I talk you through my rough calendar?
Yeah, go for it, please.
Okay. I don't know the dates. Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
But Final Fantasy 16 is genuinely on my radar in terms of should I get this game day one.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
Jedi.
it's like a 90% chance for me. That's the thing. It's high. It's just not a definite at the minute.
For me, it just depends on finances and time.
Yeah,
As I've told you, Jay,
basically.
I can't justify buying 60 quid games when I've already got 3 or 4 games that I want to play that I've already got. It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway,
Hmm.
so Final Fantasy 16 is genuinely up there. Another game which is genuinely up there is Jedi. Now, in terms of the rest of the year, there's probably 2 or 3 games. Now, those are, of course, Starfield, which we'll talk about later.
Hmm.
It is also a indie title called Spider-Man 2,
Yep.
which
Yeah,
is going
that's
to
on
be
my list.
fucking incredible. So the problem with me, Jay, is that there aren't many games of the whole year which I want to buy day one, but I can assure you the ones I do want to buy day one, I really do want to buy day one, depending on how they're received and stuff. So yeah, ironically, Jay, I'll be on. Well, look, Starfield's on Game Pass. If you had gun to my head, Nick, which of those are you going to buy day one? I'll be brutally honest with you. I'd say Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
In terms of a game which I feel like I need to play for story, I think I might go Spider-Man 2 because look, Final Fantasy 16 is a brand new story, right? It's like it's neither here nor there. Like, oh, spoiler! I don't even know who that is. You know. If I look at Jedi, I want to play Jedi badly, but like I'm not. You know, Star Wars is still Star Wars. You know what I mean? Whereas
Hmm.
Spider-Man 2, I'm like, this could be the best superhero game we've ever had. Genuinely,
Well, I think there's
genuinely.
there's been some speculation online because we only really were in where was the limits of the map in the first one? It's just basically New York, whereas Manhattan.
Yeah, yeah, I
So there
think
was
so.
no going to Brooklyn or Harlem or any of the other boroughs, basically,
I
was
don't
there?
think so. I
I
don't
think
think
did we
so.
go to Harlem in Miles
Miles Morales.
Morales?
I genuinely can't remember, bro.
Can't remember either. But
Mm.
yeah, people are speculating online that we might actually go to some other boroughs.
Okay.
So that might be part of it. I'm not
Very
really sure.
exciting. Very exciting. Cool. Do you mind if I talk you through what I've been playing, Jay?
Yeah, go for it, please.
Thank you. So let me have a look at my list up here. Um, so let me just tell everyone what's going through my mind at the mo. Jay, did I tell you and the audience about my back catalogue plan on the pod?
I don't know if you did the whole thing.
Okay. So I had a thought this year, guys, that I genuinely want to finish my back catalogue and play every game, even the games that I look at the store and I go, or I look at my library and I go, oh, I want to play that. I've never got round to it. I'm just going to play it and not finish it necessarily, just play it, try it out. Okay. So I'm making a genuine effort to do this. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to swamp myself and suffocate myself with an expectation that doesn't need to be there. It also doesn't mean that I can't change my mind and tomorrow I'll stop it altogether. But that's just my plan at the moment. So what does that entail? So that entails revisiting old games like Call of Duty on Veteran, for instance. So I've already started doing a lot of these. Now the progress was actually going quite well at the beginning of the year. It has slowed down immensely, and that is due to some big ass games that take longer than they should. So anyway, what have I been playing trying to catch up with all this back catalog stuff? So my main focus is on Xbox at the moment. I'm going to move over to PlayStation once I've covered enough ground there. But there's some big games on PlayStation that I need to play as soon as possible. But I really must finish a few on Xbox first because, like Jay said, I can't. I've literally got 10 games that I've started, and I just can't keep
Yeah,
doing that.
I was thinking about this about you today, like how many you've got going on. I just kept thinking to myself, he's doing too much. Like he just needs to pick a lane and stick to it.
It's true. Well, I'm
Like
trying
you,
to stick to this lane right now.
it must be affecting your enjoyment of games. It must be. Like, there's no way that
Mm.
you're bouncing between games, going, "Oh, I'm enjoying every second of this." There's just like because you're probably just thinking, "Oh, I need to do that other thing, that other game constantly."
What I
Like
will say is
it
that,
must be so difficult. I'd hate that. That would really frustrate me because I
well,
like once I've started
mm,
something, I need to finish it. Like if I had played Wolong and only gotten halfway through, and then another game came out, I would have had to have finished Wolong first.
what I would say is, okay, if you're talking about a couple of games, right? So let's just say Lego Star Wars and The Division 2.
Sure.
Sometimes, some nights, I will genuinely play an hour and a half of Division and go, I'm done. I want to go on Lego.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty normal. What you're talking about, I think, about, Jay, is, I'm playing 10 minutes of Wolong, then I'm playing 30 minutes of Lego, then I'm playing 50 minutes of Division 2. That's not normal. That's
Okay.
not it's not productive either. So yeah, in that respect, Jay, yeah, I'm not finding it great, but that's why I'm trying to stick to my lane at the moment, believe it or not. And I'm genuinely trying to finish the Division 2 with all my heart. I really am. That's why I asked for your help, because I'm actually okay. So just full transparency, guys. So I can't remember if I talked about it on the pod before, but I used to play the Division 2. I didn't. I just got to it. I just didn't like it because of this back catalog thing I've doing. I've gone back to it, and I played it with Jay a bit. We played it together. We had a good
Hmm.
time. Jay's character's awesome, obviously,
Yeah.
and
Put a
so
decent amount of time in.
right now, I think I'm at a good place, Jay. I'm level 30 core game. I
Nice.
have done all the main missions apart from the strongholds, and I've done all the side missions too, and I've done majority of projects as well. So I think I'm in an okay place. I know you're
Okay.
probably going to go, Nick, that the end game's unbelievable, and I'm going to go, I'm not even going to
Eh.
try the end game, so don't worry about that. But I'm gonna recruit Jay to help me try and blast these strongholds out and really cap this game off. But in terms of my thoughts on the game itself, I'll let you guys know when I finish it. But in terms of my thoughts on the game, I think it's a really good game. Yeah, the gameplay's great. The locations are fantastic. Genuinely, like half the reason you want to do main mission is to see where you go in terms of the building in DC. So it's a fairly simple game in that respect, and there's not much story, but it's a good game. And I think this is an example of a game which, as we've talked about before, Jay,
Mhm.
Ubisoft have way too many employees, but I think this is an example of just when they just throw thousands of people at making a game and they make a game like this, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's good. You can definitely see the amount of work that's gone into it, and it's apparently an immense improvement on the first in every single way. So that's something. So there's that. We've also got the main ones which I've actually sort of looked at and sort of finished with, so to speak. So we've got here pre-sequel, which Jay, me and you've both played a little.
Mhm.
So pre-sequel,
Yeah, I'm
but
still kind of like on that, but not really at the same time.
yeah. So for me, basically, I looked at my achievements, guys, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I could get a few more achievements in pre-sequel. Like, I don't think I'm done with that game. I feel like I've got unfinished business with it. So whack it in, start playing it. And I think me and Jay experienced pretty much the same thing in that I think when we started it, it was very much like oh yeah, I remember this game better than I thought. And actually, it's not as good as I remember. At least it wasn't for me. I remembered it better than I thought, and I actually playing through it, I was just a bit like, oh, you know what? Nah, I'm not feeling this at all. Now I'm not shitting on it. I still think it's a good game. It does some different things with Borderlands. I actually think the fact it's a bit shorter isn't necessarily a bad thing either, because it is a short game. Um, but I'm not interested in going back to that at the moment. Just being fully
Mm.
transparent there. It's not for me. Not for me. So we've got that. So I'm moving on from that. Another game, Jay, Resident Evil 5. So
Mhm.
talked about it a lot. Me and Will have finished it. We finished our professional run through, finished it completely. Had a great time. Super cheap. We got it for £4 or £5. We must have played it for like 30 hours, if not longer. An absolute bargain. We did the collectibles. We did some misc achievements. We didn't do all of them. We also did the DLC, just one run through. A couple of Jay, I've
Mhm.
got to add something to the Achievement shame list. What did I call
okay.
this list again? The achievement memoriam. Resident Evil 5 or edition, Xbox One edition, DLC 1 glitch achievements. Completed it, didn't pop for me. It's going on the memoriam.
Yeah.
Frustrating, but I don't like that game enough to replay that DLC. So yeah, so it's good. Really enjoyed it. Can't say more than that. Any questions?
No. All I know is that there's people online talking about what's the next Resident Evil they're going to remake, and 5 seems to be the next number. So if you want to play it all again, remade, you possibly can in a couple of years.
Do you think it's a bit too new, that game? Or what are your thoughts?
Do I think it's too new?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Resident Evil 5 came out in 2008,
Should we have a look?
I think.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like, it still seems a lot newer than your likes of Resident Evil 4, don't you think?
Resident Evil 4 came out 2005.
Resident Evil 5 came out 2009.
There you go. Okay.
See, I'm getting the impression, Jay, that they won't remake Resident Evil 5, but the next Resident Evil might be a co-op game. Like Resident Evil 9. What do you reckon?
I see. So if they're going to make another one, it won't be a remake. It'll be something else. It'll actually be the next game.
Yeah,
well, I'm
I
pretty
think.
sure they said that the 7, 8, and 9 were going to be a trilogy, right?
Maybe not then. Maybe not. That wouldn't make any sense.
It'll probably be to do with something to do with that. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Shall I move on?
Okay.
An interesting one, Jay. My brain, for whatever reason, has gone to I know why. Went on holiday with India, and one of the audiobooks I had was Mythos with Stephen Fry.
Yeah, I have that. I still need to read it.
So that's basically his own retelling, summarization of the Greek mythology. Which most of us would be familiar with. Now, the book's great. Listening to it, I haven't finished it. I'm only a couple of hours in, but the book's great. That then triggered me to, believe it or not, watch God of War 2, as in the original God of War 2 cutscenes on YouTube, because I love that game. And all the names in the book were just making me want to watch the story of that game, which is still fantastic, by the way. In case you guys didn't know, but Cory Barlog, who directed God of War 2018, directed God of War 2 original, and I think you can really see that. Even today, the cinematics hold up unbelievably well. They might be the best PS2 cinematics ever. So I watched that, and then that led me to thinking, well, Nick, if you're going to do a little bit of Greek mythology, you might as well just do the whole thing and do a trilogy. So I went back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I did the Discovery mode in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
So that's the walking around and basically learning about the background of Greeks, how they lived, their mythology, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah, in the game of Odyssey. So I didn't do so basically, Jay, there's main tours where people will verbally tell you at each pit stop what's going on. But then there's also bits where you can stop and read. I did not do the reading. I just wanted them to tell me the information, and I can look at how pretty Odyssey is in 4K at 60 frames. So I just did that. I just did the main tours. But yeah, it was really good. It was good fun. It was really enjoyable. I didn't go back and do it for Origins, which is the first game that had Discovery mode.
I had it in that as well. Okay.
So that's where it started.
Okay.
So I haven't gone back to Origins. I haven't gone back to Valhalla. But if I get in an Egyptian mood or if I get in a Viking mood, then, who knows? So I did that too. So that's uninstalled. And the last thing, Jay, from me is a game called The Gunk. You know this game?
I know about it.
So an indie game, but it's got quite an arresting visual style, I would say. Or at least it stands out quite a lot in the store, in my opinion.
Yes.
So a game which I have kept looking at the store, and I finally thought, Nick, just try the damn game, man. So I tried it out. So The game's interesting, Jay. It's very interesting. So the graphics are pretty good for an indie game. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
where a lot of the emphasis has gone. The gameplay is fairly minimal. It's a sort of platformer with a little bit of action in there. You're basically vacuuming up gunk, and sometimes you're launching it at other sort of little gunk monsters, basically.
Okay.
Now, the acting, it's very minimal. You're basically playing two astronaut workers who are just looking for materials to farm so they can make enough money to eat, basically. So they're pretty low class. They're pretty low on the food chain. So basically, you're going to this planet, you're seeing what's there, you're seeing what you can scavenge.
Mm-hmm.
So you get there, you find the gunk, and there's a great interaction between you, the player, who's obviously hoovering up this gunk. I don't remember the names of the characters, unfortunately, and then also the pilot of your ship. And I think I think you're in a relationship, but it's a little bit, grey. Like they don't straight up, go, "Oh, I love you, you're my girlfriend." Do you know what I mean? It's a bit more like implied than that. So
Okay.
from that perspective, the interactions are really refreshing, and
Sure.
it's nice. It's nice effort. It's a nice effort for such a small game.
It
But
kind of reminds me of Blink. No, Blinks.
yeah, sure, yeah, I get that.
Like having to suck up stuff. That's kind of like similar.
Yeah,
Or like
totally.
Luigi's Mansion or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's Luigi's
It's
Mansion.
giving me that kind of vibe.
So I got about an hour and a half in. There's some easy achievements on that, by the way.
Okay.
And I was really enjoying my time with it. And Jay, it's the perfect Sunday afternoon game, which you could probably do in one afternoon, like in 4 or 5 hours. Genuinely, the perfect Sunday afternoon game.
Sure.
Unfortunately, so the night I started playing it, I was like, yeah, man, I could keep playing this. Unfortunately, a couple of days after, when I went back to it, I was just a bit less interested. I did power
Okay.
through a bit, but I was just losing a bit of interest, frankly, and just thinking, I think I could be playing something else here, which is a bit more impactful. Unfortunately, so I installed that, but I gave it a go. It's a good game, I think, from what I can tell. Definitely worth someone checking out, but nothing super special.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I remember when they advertised it, I think at like E3 or wherever it was. And it looked interesting, but I was just kind of
Mm,
like, maybe not. I'll see. But the fact that it's on Game Pass is definitely a good first step.
absolutely,
Gets your foot in
absolutely.
the door, doesn't it? So.
And I think that studio are talking about making another game with Xbox because of the apparent success of that game. So who knows?
Mm.
Um, what I was going to say something actually. Oh, I've forgotten. Hold on, let me try and remember. Yes, Jay. How many of these games do we see like indie games at showcases and we think, oh, that looks interesting, and then it comes out and nobody even knows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's just
Quite
a
a
bit
few of those.
it's just a bit alarming that so many games can catch our attention and yet we don't, hear anything else of them even when they're out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel we get that a lot, right? We get like, I'm trying to think of like good examples. I really can't think of any. I know it just has. I know it has happened a lot. I just couldn't tell you when.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I get you.
But yeah, I mean, indie games sort of they're definitely a lot more easily found nowadays. I think if you have an indie game, it's definitely a lot easier to be recognized now than it would have been years ago. Although there definitely was that time when like Fez was massive, and what was that other one? There's another one as well. It sort of like blew open the door for like indie games to like have a bit
Mm,
more of a opportunity. But yeah, I mean, the stores make it a lot easier now. They're sort of a bit more involved, aren't they? And no, I
true.
think Game Pass is probably one of the biggest reasons why
100%.
indie games have had such a boom over the last couple of years. So,
Well, as you say, Jay, I think you said this, but if Power Wash Simulator wasn't on Game Pass, like, it wouldn't be nearly as big, right? Did you say that? Or am I just putting words in your
yeah,
mouth?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I feel like you can just apply it to anything, really, can't you?
So yeah, look,
Uh,
that's a lot of what I've been playing.
hmm,
Division 2 is my main focus right now. I
I'm
want to get
surprised.
that
Yeah, that's
done.
kind of insane. I mean, you're
Um,
basically done, right?
I mean, I hope so. Do you
I mean,
fancy helping me out later,
well,
or not
I'm just trying
really?
to think, right? Like, what's the next step?
The
Like,
3
I mean,
strongholds.
yeah, I was gonna say you've got the strongholds and you've got DLC if you need to do that.
Yes, which I will run through. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't have to help me. But would you help me with strongholds, or you
Yeah, I probably would. It would just
okay?
have to be depending on when.
Tonight?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
How many are you on your third character for Diablo 4?
I am. I plan on getting this character to max level by 3 tomorrow. That was sort of my goal.
Okay.
Because I'm hoping they're going to do the world boss again.
Interesting.
And I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't know. I might not even bother, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't really get anything out of it anymore. So.
Okay. Right, before we move on to the news, Jay,
Mm.
got a couple of things I want to do. So, let's have a look here. Right. Oh, let me stretch over. Here we go. Huh. Okay. A lot of Thor Ragnarok questions in this bundle, Jay. In Thor Ragnarok, what is the name of the plan Thor wants to try in which Loki has to pretend to be injured? A. It was an accident. B. Get help. C. Tattletale. Or D. You won't believe. That's you won't
I'm pretty
believe.
sure it's get help. Yeah, I know exactly which one it is. I know exactly which bit of the movie it is. I remember it because he sort of like gets tasered, I think, or something. But I'm pretty sure it's called Get Help.
Okay, final answer.
Yeah.
It is correct. Well done, Jay.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. That's Thor Ragnarok's a funny one, to be honest. Because while it is good, it's bad at the same time.
It's not a good
Massive
Thor film,
departure.
right?
It's a massive departure from what I think Thor should be.
Agreed. Completely agree
They
with
went a
that.
bit too silly with Thor, to be honest. Thor's a bit more of a serious character than that.
Completely agree with you, Jay Rules. Completely agree. Why did I do this to myself? I've put the lid. God.
I can't believe you've done this.
You know when you put the lid like underneath the box.
Yeah, that is.
Oh man, it's so
infuriating.
annoying. And now I've got to try and get the box out without ruining the pack. Jesus. Oh, Christ. Why do I do this to myself? Who would ever do this? Anyone who's sane would not do this. Okay, next thing I want to do, Jay. I want to talk about some oldie woldy games.
Okay.
Including a game called. I'm not sure if you remember this game, Jay, but it's on your achievement list, so I'm sort of hoping you do.
Probably do then if it's on my achievement list. Yeah.
I'm just bear with me 1 minute as I get the game up because I want to make sure I quote the name of the game properly.
Oh God, is it like long or something?
No, I just want to make sure I'm triggering the right memory, basically. Memories all alone in the moonlight. It's good. You good? What's that, Jay?
I can't remember.
All right, well, we are basically there. So, the game is X-Men, the official game.
Okay.
I think it's X-Men 3 by the looks of things. Do you have
Um,
any knowledge of this game whatsoever? You have 5 achievements, 3 of which are 0G. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was I think that literally one of them was like press the start button or something.
It's Wolverine's training mission, Iceman's training mission, and Nightcrawler's training mission are all 3 0G achievements. What the actual F
It's
is
weird,
this
isn't it?
game?
Yeah.
120G for upgrading all of Wolverine's mutations. Sorry. What the hell is it? There's like 12 achievements. What the hell? An achievement for getting all the other achievements called X-Men, i.e. a platinum. Haven't seen that before. Fucking what? Jay, this achievement is well, no, we have seen that actually. We've seen that with Wonderlands, so I take that back. Anyway, do you know what the achievement description says, Jay? This achievement is awarded when the player profile accumulates 950 achievement score. Is that bonkers?
Yes.
I think that's bonkers. Anyway, have you got any recollections of this game?
I don't think so.
I kind of wish we could. I have a better setup because I would like to show you gameplay on live
I
as
was
we're
gonna
talking
say,
because
yeah.
that would be better. So I'm gonna pick games which are more well known, so I don't have to do that. Okay,
Okay.
here we go. Oh, I don't care about Need for Speed Undercover.
Yeah.
Where does
What
this fit in
about
the?
it?
Where does this fit in the Need for Speed legacy? Oh, sorry
Undercover.
guys. This is called Achievement Archive. I should have
I'm
said.
trying to remember which one
So this is the
Undercover is.
segment of the show where we dive into Jay's achievements and see what he remembers. Any particular thoughts, feelings, concerns, nightmares, whatever it might be.
Undercover.
So we're looking at
Oh,
Need for
that
Speed
one.
Undercover on
That's
360.
terrible.
Terrible game?
Terrible. Need for Speed have only had a couple good ones. Those being 1, 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, the first remake, Payback, and Unbound. I think the rest of them are all pretty terrible.
Hold on a minute. Is the remake the one based off the film?
No, I don't think there was a game based off the film. The remake
No,
was
the
just
Need for
called Need
Speed
for
film.
Speed. Yeah, I remember, but there wasn't a game made from the film
Was there a
or based
game?
on the film.
Are you
It
sure
was
about
literally
that?
just called Need for Speed, and it was fucking fantastic. Oh, and Heat as well. Heat is in there. That's another good one.
So that remake was good then, was it?
Yeah, the first one was pretty good. Yeah,
And also, when you say 1 and 2, you talking about Underground.
yeah.
Was there a Need for Speed with no subtitle then, as the first game? No.
I think was the first one actually called Underground? I can't even remember
Maybe it
now.
was. So anyway, Undercover. This sounds like a bit of like a Most Wanted type thing it was trying to do.
Yeah, there was like a couple games from like 2008 to like 2016 where they were all like police. Like they were just trying to like experiment with the police part of it, and they never really got it right, and they only really figured it out recently, to be honest. Like the
Uh,
police in the most recent games are actually pretty decent.
do you remember anything in particular about Undercover?
Yeah, they had an actress in it that was fairly well known,
Fair.
like an Asian actress, but
Okay.
somewhat forgettable.
And the last game for Achievement Archive this week, Jay. A very special game. So I would politely ask if you could give me your energy for just a moment here.
Okay, you have it.
Assassin's Creed 1.
Yes, very very special game. That one is funny because I even remember when they announced it, and like there was like a teaser of like the main character on like a horse, and I remember seeing that and thinking that was like the best thing that I'd ever seen in my life. Like
Sure.
it was just fascinatingly good.
Do you have a
Um,
memory at all, Jay, of playing it? Did you borrow it? Did you
yeah,
just
no, I
anything?
definitely played it. I had it. I bought it. I remember where I was when I completed it as well. I remember like so many things.
Tell me what you want to say.
I mean, I remember being at my dad's, and I remember my dad being like, "We need to go out and do stuff," and I was literally like on the last mission, and we didn't leave until I'd finished playing the game, and they were like screaming at me, trying to get me out of the house, and I was like, I want to finish the game."
Nice, nice.
And I think literally, the thing is, I wanted to wait to the end of the credits because I knew there was going to be a scene at the end of the credits, more than likely.
Sure.
So I wanted to like wait, and that took like I don't know if you know, the end credits of that game were like 30 minutes long.
I do know that.
They are ridiculously long.
Most Assassin's Creed,
Very
that one in
annoying.
particular, but most Assassin's Creed's credits are ridiculous. To be fair.
Yeah, no, they are annoyingly long.
Yeah.
And it's
No.
not fun, definitely.
100%. I mean, look. What's to say that we probably haven't already said before? But I
Mm.
remember playing Assassin's Creed in 2007 on my 360. I remember getting achievements on it. I remember scaling buildings. I remember walking and running around those cities just with no purpose whatsoever. That might have been one of the last games that I would have played in a sandbox environment, if that makes sense. As in, I would have played
Sure.
it and just played it for playing its sake. Like we don't do
Yeah.
that now because we haven't
Oh,
got the
that's true,
time, right?
actually. Yeah.
But I
I
remember
do think about that a lot, to be honest. Like about playing games just for the sake of it,
Mm,
rather than. But I mean, I'm too much of an achievement hunter now. I kind of can't do that really.
agreed. time is of the essence, Jay. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
What I would say to that is maybe me and you would have, a brief half an hour on an old game where you like Fallout 3, for instance.
Sure.
Like
Well,
you might.
actually, yeah, you bring that up. I actually started playing that again, and I do tend on trying to get pretty far in that. I think that's like my goal is to actually like try to get the rest of the achievements on that. Because I think I've got about half the achievements on that, maybe.
Yes. Did you? I meant to bring up on when we were talking about what you were playing, but did you manage to? Did you get the DLCs or?
Yeah, no, I bought the DLC, so I have that at
Sweet.
least.
Yes, if you guys don't know, Fallout 3 has arguably the best DLCs ever. And when Jay was just like, yeah, I kind of fancy playing Fallout 3 and doing the DLCs, I was like, Jay, that literally sounds like the best 2 days of your whole goddamn life, frankly.
2 days.
Yeah, they're long DLCs.
Two 2 days.
I'm talking about if you sat there for like 12 hours a day.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I've still got. I've started the game from the beginning.
Oh, no, I just meant if you played through the DLCs, that's all.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, I know about that. I mean, I've watched people play the DLC, so I know what happens in them.
Sure.
It's just I haven't played them myself,
Sure.
unfortunately.
I was thinking about that today with Gears 3 and a DLC called Ram's Shadow, where I've seen someone play through it, but I haven't played through it myself. And it's like, do you
Yeah,
get it? Do you play it? Do I give
yeah.
the money for a DLC that's that old? No, I don't. Anyway. Maybe there's times when we just fancy going on a game for 10 minutes and just playing it for playing its sake. But we haven't got time to go, yeah, I'll rumble around in Division 2 for 2 hours doing piss all. You know what I
I feel
mean?
like my game of that is I guess Overwatch really at the minute. Like it's just online, right? So it's super easy.
Mm. But that's still got objectives, right? You're doing dailies. You're trying to win
Yeah, but I
matches.
mean, you sort of get them by osmosis, really. They're sort of like easy to do. Like you can just play the game and you'll eventually get them.
Sure. I appreciate that. So Assassin's Creed 1, yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, I actually specifically remember playing through my first playthrough and thinking, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm getting lectures about philosophy, and then I'm
Yeah.
assassinating tyrants. What the actual hell is going on right now? I can't believe this is a video game. This is such a perfect video game for me. And oh man,
I remember the collectibles, like the feathers. I think were they
no, the flags, the
flags?
feathers
That's
were
what
in
it was. I don't know
AC2.
why I get.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get those two mixed up.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember seeing that and it seeming impossible, not even really attempting it, being like, yes, this is.
totally.
Collectibles weren't really a thing for me back then. Like they were sort of my entrance into it, and I remember it being so daunting. I didn't even want to like attempt to like do it really.
Oh, dude, the flags are notorious. There's like 450 of them.
Yeah, screw that. That's like
There's
that's
like 100 in every city, and there's 100 in the free roam area in between all the cities. It was awful, mate. It took me like 3 days to get them all. It was a nightmare. I
yeah,
print
not
you.
fun.
That was when I used to print out guides, Jay. Like I'd print out every
Oh yeah,
page to
sure.
like. Do you know what I mean, man?
Yeah,
Printing out guides.
bloody
Those were the
hell.
days. Those were the days. I also remember specifically doing my first playthrough and then doing my second one and like actually getting like the glitch achievements and stuff like that. I don't know why I
Uh
remember that, but yeah,
huh.
yeah.
Sure.
Didn't you find the ending of that game, Jay, just such a total tease?
What for AC1?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. It's funny. The ending of that game is so burned into my memory. But I don't know about a tease. Why would it be such a tease?
I just remember thinking, like, when he gets the eagle vision and he sees the blood on the wall or whatever, I just remember thinking,
Oh,
oh,
that.
yeah,
Bloody
yeah, yeah.
hell.
And
Yeah.
I was just
That's
like,
funny.
yeah,
Did they ever go anywhere with that?
yeah, yeah.
Trying to remember what they did.
So that was
There was
subject.
definitely an aspect of that where they just haven't spoken about it yet, I'm pretty sure. So I even thought someone brought up in an article that I read the other day. They were like, yeah, they never really got around to talking about this part of the ending of AC1.
Oh.
So maybe there's something that we're forgetting.
Is it the location of all the pieces of Eden that shows on the globe, maybe?
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like they probably touched on that more than likely.
Well, I'm
Hard
not
to say
sure,
now,
but
isn't it?
yeah, in terms of the ending, one of the reasons why AC2 is such a special game is that I was so eager to find out what was going to happen, like what was happening, like what's the next step of the story. Like we go modern. You remember the rumors, Jay? Everyone was like, "Yeah, it's going modern day. It's going modern day." Like nobody thought it was Renaissance
Oh, I
Italy.
see.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was just such a, oh my god, I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know what's going to
I honestly
happen.
don't think I ever felt that. I was just more of like, I AC. When I finished AC1, I didn't think to myself, "Oh, I can't wait for the next one." I was probably just thinking to
Really?
myself what I was going to do at school the next day. I
Sure,
wasn't really that fussed about it back then. I feel
sure.
like that didn't really kick in until a couple of years later. I don't think,
No, fair enough.
which is an odd thing, but it just yeah, that's kind of how it was.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. So that's achievement archive. I think I called that
Love it.
segment.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the news.
Okay.
KJ, UK?
News is my favorite bit.
Is it? Oh, well, we'll start with
Always.
it next time. You should have said.
Always my favorite.
Right, you ready? You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Right, just readjusting. Okay.
Has to be done. Has to be done.
I just need to get these
But
stories.
I hate headphones sometimes, dude. They really fuck with my ears. Because my glass is like in between my ear and where it's pressing up against. So it's like digging into the side of my fucking head. I hate it. Pissing
Jay,
me all.
I have exactly the same problem every time we do a pod.
Yeah.
These headphones are
The thing
killing me
is,
right now.
I have to wear headphones for work. Or like ear protectors. Because like there's
Sure.
just constant humming and loud noises and machinery that will literally blow your ears out. So you kind of have to. But yeah, it's just I get used to them. Like I feel like you get used to your ears or whatever, but it's just obnoxious sometimes.
Do you
I
find
also
that
don't wear earphones enough.
do your ears produce more earwax at all by wearing a lot of headphones?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Actually,
Just
if
curious.
anything, as I've gotten older, I get less.
Oh,
I
that's
used to have loads when I was younger.
yeah, yeah.
Although I got both my ears got um, blocked over the course of like 2 months. I don't know what was happening. Maybe like a second wave of hormones or something. I don't fucking know. But I was just getting like really blocked ears. And I think since then, since I've had them cleaned them out, they've been perfectly normal.
Nice.
Very odd.
Nice. Okay. I'm nearly
Adult
there.
problems. Adult problems.
Adult problems. I
We
also
do
had
like
that.
we spoke about this before about how like around 25 you sort of go through like a second puberty almost.
You reckon?
Oh yeah, no, this is a
What with
known
like
phenomenon.
you mean with like issues? Like back
No, it's
issues
like
and shit.
I mean like yeah, your body just sort of goes through like it's gotten to that age where things start to deteriorate a little bit.
Is it shouldn't though, right? It shouldn't
Yeah, no,
really.
I think it's also when your brain has stopped developing technically, right? So
Oh. Just
25 is
just
supposed to
starts
be when your brain
degrading.
stops.
Because don't we peak at like late 20s and then we just degrade from there basically? Is that
That's a good
correct?
question. I don't know.
I'm sure our peak is like 29, 30 at the most.
Who knows?
When you ever look at
I
athletes, it's
hit my
always
peak
like
many years ago.
late 20s, isn't it?
I
Okay.
mean, like overall body and stuff.
Well, yeah, body fitness, not brain fitness. I don't
Okay.
think that's the
To
thing,
be
but
honest, I think I've felt the strongest when I was maybe early 20s,
sure.
but I lost a lot of weight, and so therefore I lost a lot of muscle over the course of COVID because I didn't do anything for ages.
Sure.
So I feel slightly weaker now, but still pretty strong.
I'm sure you are. Jay, let's move on to the
Oh,
news.
yeah, you know me.
I know you. First up, this is your stories, by the way. We shall lead with yours. So,
Yes.
Xboxes, by the way, all of Jay's main reports come from IGN, but we'll try and credit the source
Yeah.
itself
It's
as
funny. I
well.
don't like IGN, but I like IGN. If you know what I mean.
I get you. Xbox's Activision Blizzard deal takes major step forward in CMA investigation. So the
Thank
CMA
God.
have released a statement saying that one of its key provisional concerns that the deal would harm competition of Microsoft made Call of Duty and Xbox exclusive has now been addressed and is no longer an issue.
Yes. Love
We
to
also
see
got
it.
reports that I think the EU are going to be fine with allowing the acquisition, but
Yeah, there was two things left basically that were like screwing us over in terms of you know blocking the whole thing, and there's two things. It was the CMA for the UK basically, and then the FTC in America, and the FTC still haven't let go of the whole thing yet. So we're still waiting to hear back. Still waiting to see what.
I mean, I feel like this is the
I mean, we're still
first.
not going to get the CMA full report until the 26th of April. So
I feel like this is the first positive news we've had about the acquisition for a while. To be honest, Jay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear about it all the time because I follow it
Sure.
pretty intensely. But
Sure. How can you not, right? How can you not? All the pods I listen to, you know, they always say like, "Oh, look, we're talking about the Activision Blizzard takeover again." It's like, of course you are. It's literally the biggest thing in gaming. Like, it's massive. Don't feel bad for it, guys.
it's funny. I was thinking about today about how when it finally goes through, it's probably going to be one of the biggest gaming achievements to ever have been.
And maybe will be
Yeah,
until we
it's
start
going to be such a shift.
populating the moon. Yeah, I know.
I don't know how quickly they're going to go from certain games not being on Game Pass to being on Game Pass. I can almost guarantee you've got them ready to go.
I hope so. Do you remember the Bethesda acquisition? As soon as it was
Yeah,
completed,
how quick was it
they put
until we
5
got?
games on the day one. Put 5
Oh,
games on there.
dude, I can't wait. Dude, we're gonna get Call of Duty Day One.
Oh, I mean, I hope so, bro.
Me too. Me and you are playing the new Call of Duty if that happens.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah, we are.
That'll be
Cool.
fun.
Okay, I'll move on. By the way, there are a lot more details on the actual gov.uk website.
I mean, there's a load of jargon that we just don't really understand. We just get the sort of brief synopsis of it. You know,
Sure.
that's as much as we care about, to be honest. As long as Activision and Blizzard get bought by Microsoft, we don't really care about anything else. As
God
long as
of
it goes
War
through.
inspired TMNT The Last Ronin game in the works.
Yeah, so this is a
Polygon
bit funny.
Polygon broke the news in an interview with Doug Rosen. Rosen, Senior Vice President for Games and Emerging Media at Paramount Global. While the developer involved is still being kept under wraps, Rosen indicated the goal is to create a AAA action title that draws heavily from the comic book source material. Jay, before you say anything, if it's all right,
Go on.
appreciate that this is their job. But if this is a game, we ain't seeing this before 2027. So, you know, anyway.
No, yeah, I think that the article does go on to say, you know, many years from now, basically. This is them basically putting the idea out there as to whether we've already started pre-production.
Sure.
They're probably in the post-development stage. They're probably actually like building it now, I think. Probably.
Sure. So what are your thoughts, Jay?
I'm of two different minds, really. Like, I've always wanted a really decent AAA TMNT game.
Yeah,
But
sure.
in my mind, it was more like the Suicide Squad game that's now coming out. It was going to be more of a sort of looter, kind of maybe. It was either going to be an RPG kind of thing, or it was going to be like an actual Rocksteady type game where it was like you could change, or it would just be like a game where you could pick which of the 4 you wanted to be, and you just play a campaign basically.
Sorry to interrupt, Jay, but surely TMNT is a perfect format for a 4-player co-op looter shooter.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, it would.
Or,
Yeah,
or
it would
melee,
that,
you know, whatever thing. You know, you know.
Totally agree. I mean, they've still got time to do that, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know how quickly they will, or if they ever will. But yeah, it's weird, this one. So the comic material is, the story is basically that in the future, everyone dies in the TMNT universe, like all the main characters, apart from one of the turtles. One of the turtles survived, and we don't know who of the turtles it is. It's either Raph, Don, Mike, or Leonardo. We don't know of the 4 who it is, because I think instead of them wearing their coloured bandana, they wear like a black one.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
And in this universe, they all look a lot more similar, so you can't quite tell who it is.
That's
so basically,
awesome.
the idea of this game is that you play the one, and you have to find out why everyone died, basically, and you have to find out who this last turtle is, whether the turtle is one of the 4, like which of the 4 they are, because the game doesn't really give you any clues.
Dude, that's so cool.
It is quite a cool story, yeah. But I think people would have hoped for more of an actual like 4-player co-op type thing. That's like almost like a Gotham Knights, basically, right?
Yeah, sure. To be fair, Jay, I don't want to poop on what creatives want to do, but that Gotham Knights game might have been better off as a TMNT game.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of agree with you, to be honest.
I don't necessarily think. I think it just would have been a bigger impact. So yeah, that's really cool, dude. Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Next up,
definitely it's also supposed to be a lot more gory, gruesome, dark, like more actually in tone with the original comics as well, because they were a lot more darker. Like imagine sort of like 2000 AD level dark,
sure.
like super gritty, super like just black
Urgh.
darkness.
Yeah, sure.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Microsoft scrapped a PS5 version of Redfall, says
They certainly
Arcane
did.
director. So, in an interview with IGN France, Arcane's Harvey Smith explained, quote, "We got bought by Microsoft and that was a huge sea change. They said, inside quote, no PlayStation 5, now we're going to do Game Pass, Xbox, and PC, end all quotes."
Yes.
I mean,
I'm actually
surely
curious
that's
about what you think about
obvious. Like, why would... Please, no, Jay, please, it's your story, so...
it. Well, no, it's just that it kind of makes sense because like we were speaking before. I can't remember what game it was about. Might have even been like a cyberpunk or something about how like if it wasn't for previous gen, so many more recent games that had come out would have been heavily more improved on launch because they have to waste so many resources on having to sort of put up with the fact that there's an old gen or that they have to put it on two different types of gen. Like if a game's an exclusive, it's going to be a lot more polished than if it has to come out on both generations.
Mm.
Same with if a game has to come out on a previous generation as well as a more recent one. Like they just have to waste resources on making sure it can work on both rather than putting all their time and effort and money into one and just building a one singular perfect outcome. They've got to split it and make two shit ones instead. And it's just frustrating when they have to do that. So I'm just happy that that's what they've done with Redfall. That the moment it all got bought out, it's like, nope, screw PS5. We're improving this thing. We're not gonna. We're gonna. I think it's also because if you really think about it, Bethesda are carrying the shit out of Microsoft at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Especially
heavy.
with
Like if it
Starfield. Like, can you
wasn't for,
imagine if we didn't have Starfield this year, dude?
well, that's what I'm thinking, right? We've got Redfall, we've got Starfield,
Hi-Fi Rush just came out.
Hi-Fi Rush,
Mm.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yep, not coming to Game Pass soon. Yep.
Like there's like
Deathloop.
yeah, exactly. Definitely, Bethesda have carried them this year so far. If Bethesda hadn't been part of Microsoft, the only two Microsoft games that would have come out this year are Forza and Minecraft Legends.
And maybe not even Forza, dude.
What do you mean? Maybe not
Well,
either.
I don't even know if it's going to come out this year, bro.
I think it's supposed to, isn't it?
I know it's supposed to, but I'm just a bit skeptical.
November, December, I think.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Like it would have been so bare in comparison.
I mean, Jay, let me just turn the big light on 1 sec.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Big
so ugly.
light.
Dude, you make such a great point, right? Because when you look at this strat, okay, this obviously goes back to the whole "what is Microsoft doing" thing. When you look at the strat that you've just outlined, Jay, and you get rid of Hi-Fi Rush, you get rid of Starfield, you get rid of Redfall, you get rid of whatever else, you have to wonder, like, did Xbox know that this slate was going to be this dry, and therefore that's why
Yes,
the
that's probably
acquisitions have
why.
been such a priority for them. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to get some sort of game out there. And yet they've got more studios than ever, and they just can't seem to make a game.
Well, no, that's the thing. Everything that comes out of Bethesda now is technically a Microsoft game.
Sure, what I mean is the other
Same with
Microsoft
anything that
games.
they've acquired,
Like,
But yeah, no, I
that's what I
understand.
mean, though. Like, Jay, we just haven't seen anything from these studios they've acquired.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've only got a couple more to go, but they're all going to be shown off this year or like E3 or whatever.
Well, it's been a while, Jay. That's all I'm saying.
We
It's
know
been
that
a while.
Microsoft has confirmed they're not going to be at E3. So.
Obsidian have done a hell of a lot. They've also carried the
Oh,
weight.
they're making the next Outer Worlds. They're making Outer Worlds 2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and they've got Avowed coming too, and they made Pentiment. which came out. You
Yeah,
remember that
which
game?
did pretty well actually. Again, another
And they
indie
made
game.
Grounded.
Yeah, which PS5 have tried to replicate and done terribly.
What, like a different sort of game?
A similar style game, not like in terms of like it being the same idea, but they've got like a similar art style game.
Oh, interesting.
People are making the comparison, the fact that Grounded is sort of like this 60 frames 4K game with like a really polished look to it, and this one that PS5's now put out is apparently like only a 30 frame like 1080 terrible thing, and it's like, why'd they even bother?
Weird.
Like, they just thought that it's just such a weird thing. They're trying so hard, but
Weird.
yeah, there's a like I said, the war between PS and
Xbox.
and Xbox right now has gone back to the old days. It really has.
It has. It's very exciting.
Crazy, actually. Yeah.
Okay, next up, Jay. Redfall developer Arcane is working on reversing always online requirements. In an interview with Eurogamer, game director Harvey Smith said, quote, we listen and we've already started work we listen and we have already started work to address this in the future. We have to do some things like encrypt your save games and do a bunch of UI work to support it. And so we are looking into, I'm not supposed to promise anything, but we're looking into and working actively toward fixing that in the future.
Thank God. Yeah, because Back 4 Blood did the same thing. I think I mentioned it on the last podcast, actually, about how, Back 4 Blood had the same thing. You had to be online initially when it first came out, and then I think within a month or two of it coming out, they did the same thing. They fixed it. They were like, yep, you can play it offline now if you want. So everyone was like, yay.
Do you
Good thing,
think,
because you can imagine, right, in the future that they just all of a sudden turn the servers off, but you can still play the game. But if it was online only, you would not be able to play the game.
sure,
People are really talking about, like game preservation or whatever, like buy physical, but 90% of all sales of gaming at the minute is digital. 90%.
Sure.
90. 9 out of 10.
Well, I think, wasn't that for the UK though, bro?
Yes, okay, just for the UK, but still.
I'm not trying to
It's got to be
argue.
close for the other ones.
Yeah,
Really
I hear you. Like it's up there. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it has to
I
be,
get it.
has to be.
2 points on this, Jay. One, I thought we were moving away from this problem, frankly, especially after the Xbox One conference 10 years ago. Two, the always online thing.
Oh, sure.
Two,
I know why they. You must know why they're doing it, though, right? It's piracy.
Right.
So people can't pirate the game. It makes it a lot harder if they do online only. Because obviously, if you pirate the game and it's online only, you basically have to have access to their servers still. If it's pirated, you can't have that.
Well, and then they can tell that you're pirating
I almost feel
thing.
like the online only thing should be mandatory on most games for the initial couple of months of the game coming out.
Maybe that's what they're doing, Jay. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Year, I think the game after a year should then transition from not online only or online only to not online only, just for piracy reasons.
But maybe
after a year, you've got most of your sales out of the way.
But maybe that's literally what they're doing. Maybe Back 4 Blood could do it, and they just had withheld it and just said, actually, we'll give it to you when we've made our money off the sales. You know.
Yeah, that could be definitely an aspect of it. I think
could be.
I still don't know how much of an issue piracy is for gaming. I know it's much more of an issue for TV show and movies, but
yeah,
gaming,
sure, and music, right? Well, not even really music with Spotify anymore, frankly. But yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, difficult one. Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. I'm just not sure. Question.
Answer.
No question. I think we should move on.
No answer.
Next up, Jay.
Yes.
I've got a report here from Nintendo Life.
Oh, okay.
I'm just reading it to see. Okay, so look. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga came out last year, April 2022, after a lot of delays. Apparently, it did take a lot of toll on the employees, and it's a very ambitious project, which I think's shown. Now, it has apparently sold 3.2 million copies in less than 2 weeks after launch, which is obviously a great thing. And TT Games made the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga along with all the other Lego games too. the publisher Warner Brothers Interactive as well obviously published the games. Now, apparently, they've spoken to multiple sources confirming the cancellation of various projects at the studio featuring high-profile IP, including a Lego Disney title that was terminated just last year. So this Lego game to apparently have featured multiple worlds, including the likes of Nightmare Before Christmas, Maleficent, Muppets, Pirates of the Caribbean. Basically sounds like a Lego Kingdom Hearts,
I
from
was
my
gonna say,
understanding.
yeah, that's kind of what it looks
Then they
like.
also had some other cancelled projects, apparently included maybe even a Lego game based on the Guardians of the Galaxy IP. Then also a non-Lego shooter, including the likes of Looney Tunes and Rick and Morty and Stranger Things as well. And then also
Huh.
a mobile port of Lego Worlds, which has already come out. Now, apparently they were going to do a Mandalorian DLC for Lego Skywalker Saga, but that
They did,
seems...
didn't they?
Well, there hasn't... Nothing's come out.
I could have swore I saw something about that online. That could just be this what you're talking about.
So all rumor reports, but I wanted to talk about it, Jay, because I'm obviously playing Skywalker Saga at the moment, and I was very interested in this. So what do you think about this?
So what do I think about what?
TT Games
TT Games,
cancelling a lot of internal projects.
internal projects. Okay.
So we're talking about like a Lego Kingdom Hearts. We're talking about a Lego Rick and Morty type game. We're talking about a... What was the other one? Oh no.
Mandalorian DLC?
That too.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Lego game too.
Oh, that would have made me play it. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I think I mean, I don't know why they got cancelled. I mean, they would have made money. It's Lego, right?
Sure.
Definitely seems like something the kids would want to. I mean, I'm actually curious, like, what the main audience is for these Lego games. Is it people your age, or is it people?
Well, I think it's
younger?
children. I think it's children.
Yeah. So,
But
I mean, they make money, but how do they make money?
yeah, of course they
How
sell.
many,
I think they sell
who
pretty
buys
well,
these
actually,
things? It
from
must
my
be kids. It
understanding.
has to be kids.
Yeah, no, I think they sell pretty well. But I think I don't know what's going on in terms of the organization, but
Because there has to be like a Disney influence in that, right?
in terms of Disney pulling the plug, or
Yeah, because Disney
perhaps
they've done a lot recently of what's the word, like canceling, like they've cancelled a bunch of Star Wars stuff as well.
great.
So
Well, it could be that because obviously that Disney owns Star Wars, right? So they must have worked with them on that. So there's
yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, it seems like TT Games might be a bit in trouble or a bit disorganized following the Skywalker Saga, which is such a shame because the Skywalker Saga is the focus project that TT Games probably needed after a lot of sort of cash grabs or cash cows in terms of Lego games. So that's something. I'm interested to see what they do next.
Yeah. I mean, that seems to be a bit of a trend recently, isn't it? People just cancelling a bunch of stuff. A lot of
It
people
does,
getting
doesn't
laid
it?
off. All sorts is going on, really. And
It
they're
really
trying to
does
just
seem...
rejig and
Yeah.
a load of fail. It just feels like a lot of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But if you'd asked anyone in the gaming community why were you doing that in the first place, they would have told you not to do it.
You reckon?
You know, I feel like the gaming community has a lot, even though I don't know, it just feels like people in the gaming community have a bit more knowledge on what they want.
Sure.
Versus a business who makes games.
Sure.
But doesn't necessarily know what the audience wants. Like they obviously have to do these like test groups or whatever, but
sure.
There's only so much you can get out of that.
Yeah.
Which my point, I think, my sort of like joining point with this, and also with the Redfall online only thing, like the majority, I think part of the reason why they're doing that is because the online outcry for it. Like people were like, it was on every time I follow Redfall on Twitter, and every time they made a new post, the first comment underneath was, "Hey, why aren't you sorting out the online only thing?" Like it was on every post, every single tweet was, them people having a go, basically being like, why?
Sure.
So and rightfully so, because it shouldn't be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But I think what they should have done or what they could have done, not necessarily should have, because it would have made a bit of a bad image. I think is that they it felt like a business sort of PR move. They probably would have gone, "Hey, we're not doing it because of piracy reasons, blah 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 blah," and then that would have been the end of it, more than likely. But
Mm,
instead, they were like, "Yeah, we're going to try it in the future." So clearly, they're not that fussed about piracy. It seems. If they were, they wouldn't even bother.
sure.
So you know.
Couple of big stories to finish off this week, Jay. Number one.
Mm.
According to a new report from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, citing an anonymous source, claims that Suicide Squad kills the Justice League after the feedback it got from its recent State of Play, I believe, is being pushed back as far as Q4 this
December.
year or
Yeah.
next year.
It's ridiculous. It's annoying
Jay,
because there is. This might be the first time I actually have disagreed with the larger of the gaming community as a whole. Like, I get why they don't want this kind of thing anymore. Like, they've been let down too often by this similar model. But I think that shouldn't always be the reason why you'd be have outcry for this sort of thing. Like, who's to say it's going to be bad? I mean, we have evidence that it could possibly be because every iteration of this model before has been bad. I don't think it's actually been a good one since, like you say, Destiny or whatever. But who knows? This could change that. I doubt it, but it's possible. Because I'm definitely on the side of I can't wait to play this game regardless of what it is. I want quality, but I think we're going to get a certain level of that because it's Rocksteady. They wouldn't let that happen. I don't think they wouldn't let it be terrible. Or at least you'd like to think so. I mean, Rocksteady could have changed how they do things because it's been so long. Like, you got to think, right? A company is going to act a certain way and be a certain way, and then after 7 or 8 years, they're going to be a lot different, more than likely. So they might have changed a bunch of people internally, and then all those new people are just going to fuck it up, which seems to be the trend in most media nowadays. So, guess we'll have to see on that one. But yeah, I'm kind of glad it's delayed, but not at the same time. Like, it would have filled a good. Well, actually, no, it would have got in the way of Diablo for me. So it's kind of a good thing for me at the minute. I think it was coming out at too much of a bad time. It would have got lost in the sauce, as it were.
I agree, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with the majority of gamers out there.
Yeah, me too.
So firstly, I know that a lot of us, Jay included perhaps, have been burnt from the likes of Avengers. What
Avengers
I would say
was definitely the catalyst that it was the thing that broke the camel's back, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Sure. I think the people listening this doesn't apply to, but the majority of people stop buying these games if you don't want them to make them. Start buying Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe. In regards to this delay, Jay, or rumored delay, this is very, very troublesome, Jay. Very troublesome. Because
why?
the gameplay and the dialogue and the game that we saw seemed like it had a direction and it was pretty much there and it was close and it probably would have come out. And now I'm thinking, one, I don't know if I necessarily agree with your concerns, but two, what are they going to do?
Yes, this is the question.
What are they going to do in this time to change the game that much?
Yeah,
Are you telling me you're going to remove all microtransactions and you're going to reboot and you're going to retool and you're going to?
No, they'd have to release the game next year to be able to do that. And to be honest, can I just point out this game is supposed to come out in 2022. I think it's supposed to come out June 2022.
And can I just point out that the last game that Rocksteady made was Arkham Knight, which came out in 2016?
Yeah, so what, 7 years ago now? And if this comes out in 2024, it'll be 8 years?
If not 2015? Yeah, mental. Absolutely mental. Now, Jay, I had a conclusion to this. I had an Einstein moment. I had a meme.
Okay.
Why would they delay this game?
Yeah, we need to think of the reasons why, right?
I think I know why.
Go for it. Hit me.
It's not because of the feedback.
Well, I think there's an aspect.
Hear me out. Hear me out. They were going to delay the game anyway.
Yeah.
There we go. That is my genius in idea.
But what reason?
I can only assume the game's not finished.
Yeah, probably not. I think
So
they
my thinking
overestimated
was
their capabilities.
exactly. So my thinking was, I'll look at the feedback we've got. We've got the perfect excuse to say we're
Yes.
going to delay the game. And
Again.
yeah, exactly.
That might even be why they did that state of play or whatever, just to test the water. Because you can think, right? Well, I reckon this is what would have happened if the state of play had come out and it did great, and everyone was like, "Oh, I can't fucking wait to play the game. Nothing wrong with it. Can't bloody wait." They probably would have released on May, and they would have updated the game between then and, or say, December to make it what it probably should have been on release.
Sure.
And then had it got this feedback, they've been like, right, we're going to delay it, and it's now going to come out probably looking how it should do on release. So it's probably a good thing that it got some level of backlash, I imagine. But I think it got the wrong type of backlash. It got the backlash that sort of said, well, we don't actually like the game at all, rather than just we don't like the game because it doesn't look finished. Like the game, what people want that's different, that they want different, isn't doable unless you'd have to just spend at least the next 2 and a bit years to get fixing that, maybe longer. Like you're basically telling them to start over again, because the whole premise of the game is built around the sort of looter shooter thing. Right, they're basically asking them to make it into a Rocksteady game. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
it's too far gone for that, right?
Yeah, way too far gone. So they're going to get what they don't want regardless. But I still think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be great. I think people are going to play it and they're not going to care in the end. They're going to be like, oh, cool, looter shooter again.
Sure. I'm surprised people are so mixed on this game, Jay. Like, I'm sort of watching the trailer going like, are you guys seeing the same trailer I am? Like, are you seeing this writing?
I think, again, people's expectations are just way too high. It's annoying. They're still expecting these, like, amazing games, and it's like, we're not. I mean, we're there, but we're not at the same time.
Yeah, totally.
I still think, like, 2023 is going to be the biggest year in gaming in close to a decade. But I think 2024 might even be bigger. Potentially.
One step at a time, Jay. One step at a time.
I mean, or it could be just as big. I don't know.
Sure. No, totally. Especially after the COVID delays.
I have a there's just, I feel like there's going to be this wave of, like, just good quality stuff, hopefully.
Of course.
But it's got to wait. It's a waiting game again.
It is. It always is with games, Jay. It always is. Yeah, right, last up, Jay. The most important news, frankly, of this entire show.
Okay.
The incredible team at Bethesda have given us a date for the release of Starfield. They've also given us a date for their developer direct in June. I believe
June 11th.
And I believe the release date is September 6th. Is that correct, Jay?
Yeah, so Bethesda are known for their significances of their release dates. The significance of their initial release date was the fact that it was basically like a copy of their previous game, being Skyrim.
Yeah, 11/11/11. Yeah.
11/11. This was supposed to be 11/11/12. It's supposed to be like a sort of, like a continuation type thing. Or 11/11/22, and then it would have been funny if the next game was 11/11/33. That'd have been hilarious. But instead, they've gone with September 6th, which I think is the anniversary of one of the first expeditions, like sea expeditions of like a certain thing or something.
I felt like you could have put any date and it would have been the first of some sort of expedition.
There was like a very famous expedition in like 1580 or something.
Okay.
So I saw it in a video and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I think they were they're almost hinting with the September 6th release date at, like, they're sort of going with like a new frontier type thing.
Cool.
Like space exploration, new things to find.
I'm
So I
starting to
think
think,
that's
Jay,
probably
they know
partly why.
something
Because
we
you got to
don't.
think it's a random day. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
And I'm kind of hoping that they're doing like an early access thing where if you because it's Game Pass. I mean they won't, but if
Well,
maybe
I
just
don't
buy the
want that, Jay,
special
because
edition or something.
I need to play that game that finished. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think everybody does. I think that's another reason why they're delaying it, isn't it? Is because it needs to
Agreed.
come out and be perfect.
Agreed.
Like Bethesda can't really afford to have a game. As I watched the 18-minute IGN video on it, and they do like a roundup thing of like reasons why and stuff like that. And they were saying how this Bethesda games have a certain level of jankiness to them, and that just can't that has to be a thing of the past now.
Yeah.
Bethesda can't have the jank anymore. We're too past. We're way past that now. Like Fallout 76 was the example of why we cannot have that anymore, because it just fucks everything up.
Yeah.
That is dead and gone now. Hopefully.
Agreed. I was surprised, Jay, they didn't just say we'll just go do 11, 11, 11 again, because I know that Todd Howard, or 11, 11, you know what I mean, 11, 11, because I know that Todd
Oh,
Howard
I
likes
see.
to have the date and the month the same because
So it would have been
of
11, 11, 23.
international, like Americans are backwards, England's the other way.
Oh yes, so you didn't
So
get confused.
it's
Which
an
way
easy
round?
marketing
It's
date,
6/11 or 11/6, depending on.
right? And now we've
You know.
got what 6/9 or 9/6. I mean, yeah, sure, but like you say,
Oh,
Jay,
it is
when
9, isn't it? It's not 11. Why did I say 11? It's by November.
the Wednesday's weird, bro. It's a Tuesday or a Friday. It
It's
always has
weird.
been, right?
Yeah, I know. Wednesday's very odd.
And I'll be booking that day off, though. I think you'll be booking the week
Yeah,
off, won't you?
I'll be booking that whole. Well, I don't know actually. I'll probably be booking the Wednesday from. So I'll be
Yeah.
booking the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the Monday, Tuesday of the next week.
I'll just have the day off, I think, and enjoy my time with it while I can. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm gonna need more than a day.
No,
I'm
I
gonna need
know,
at least
but
a
just
week.
just to get myself started. That's all, Jay. Just to get myself started. But
Yeah, that's kind of how
look,
I feel about
I'm
Dead Island. I'm really pissed 'cause I'm not taking time off for that.
as we've talked about, Jay. Bethesda's my favorite game studios ever. So
I mean, yeah.
this is a huge deal for me. I know it's a big deal for you too, but it's a big deal for me.
Big deal for the gaming industry, honestly. At this point.
Well, that's true. So fingers crossed. Put your helmets on. Lock the air seals.
I've been doing a lot of research. I follow this guy, Starfield Signal, I think he's called, on YouTube. Not a lot of followers, but very in-depth YouTube guy about
Nice.
Starfield. Like he goes into detail about a lot of lore and like theories about stuff. A lot of theory crafting.
That's cool, man.
So if you want to find out, I mean, obviously, I don't know where you're at with games because I think me and you are a little bit different when it comes to preparedness. Like you're the kind of person who wants to go in blind, but I'm the kind of person who would rather go in fully prepared, maybe over prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you might want to skip out on something like that because there's a lot of stuff that if he's correct about, you pretty much know most of what would be hidden and that you'd want to find out later on your own. So
well, funny you should say that, Jay. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, please.
I'm tempted not to watch the developer direct.
Oh, okay. That's probably a good idea, to be honest. I mean, funnily enough, of the trailers we've already... I mean, have you seen any of the trailers?
Yeah. Well, I watched the presentation they had last year on
Of the
it.
trailers we've already had, they've already shown off a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
that
agreed.
If people are correct about, then we already know a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's probably a good thing you don't look into it, because from what you've already seen a lot. So.
I think so. So, yeah. Dude, yeah, this game's.
I mean, it's going to be big. People have already figured out the space map.
Really?
There's an online interactive space map of the whole thing already, because
so cool.
they've gone. I'm pretty sure in game is like geographically, space wise, accurate. So like, let's say like a certain.
Hold on, I think I'm getting some visitors. I'm really sorry. Fuck.
Okay.
I love this. Hi guys. Hi guys. Hi.
I was trying to work out whose graduation picture that was. I was like, why was that this random person? She came down the other weekend. She was like, do you want this picture of me? Do you want this picture of me? Aww. So is it the same blue as downstairs? Or different? It's different. This will be our bedroom.
could have paused it, but I didn't. I'm a
No,
stupid
you good.
idiot.
Doesn't matter, do it.
It's just easier for me when I edit. That's all.
Sure.
What were you saying? Sorry, mate.
I can't remember.
Yeah. No. It's a big deal. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Jay, I can't wait for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was going to talk about how it's going to be like very in depth, much like how Skyrim was. Like, there's just so much hidden stuff that you don't know about until you play it, kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I kind of want this to be because I
That's
don't think I haven't like fully got stuck into a Bethesda game, like properly got stuck in. I kind of want this one to be my first one.
the secret stuff, Jay, is the stuff I'm most interested in, right? Like, obviously, I want to know about mechanics and gameplay, blah, 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 story, whatever. But it's the coming across a ship which is abandoned, and then this whole side quest evolves.
The exploration of it,
Exactly. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
The unknown. That's what's exciting. Always has been.
Which is, I think, probably a good idea then, that you're keeping away from all the details.
Thanks, bro.
But it's funny, I like to be prepared about the unknown, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. You like to make sure you've got all the rations in the bag. I get it.
Yeah, because I don't like missing out on stuff, Like, I don't want to know that I've missed out on something.
I get that.
It's just frustrating if that happens.
Should we close the show?
Can do, yeah.
I've got a quote for you, Jay. I'll be interested to see if you get this.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I pick the same quotes and the same excerpts so much. I probably have the same ones every 2 weeks. I'm an expert swordsman, and I am skilled in the business of death. I take no pleasure in my skill. Simply, I'm good at it.
It's annoying because I do know this quote. Is this a gaming thing?
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah.
Damn it, I do know.
I could try and do a very racist accent if you want.
Yeah, what's the accent then?
I'm an expert swordsman, and I'm skilled in the business of death. I take no pleasure.
I have no idea what this is.
Okay. I was trying to do like a European accent.
European. Yeah,
Simply, I'm good at it.
It's annoying because the moment you say it, I'm gonna be like, oh, of course.
Maybe you might. To be fair.
Go on then, hit me with it.
It's a long name.
Go on then.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Wow, okay, sure. I always forget that they have swords in that game.
You're a monster.
I don't know why. Whenever I think of Assassin's Creed, I don't think of swords. I just think of the knife, and that's it. I don't even really think of guns either.
No, I think that's fair. Oh, dude, I was listening to the Valhalla soundtrack the other day. Dude, that is just next level. It really is.
Makes sense, yeah.
All right, let's close it out. Anything else, Jay?
Was there anything else? I don't know. Have I written anything else down?
No.
Okay, then that'll probably be all right. Yeah.
Good, fine.
Lots more to look forward to. I think it's going to be a bit dry until April 21st.
I mean, you think it'll be dry. I think I'm going to be rammed till then.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got anything planned to play.
Yeah, fair enough.
The second this Diablo Beta is over, I mean, I'm probably going to play Fallout 3, probably.
I hope you do.
Either that or I'll just watch movies, or I've got some manga to catch up on. Still. Always got manga and anime to catch up on. I still need to watch One Piece.
Did you watch the
I'll be watching all that for like years. No, I almost started watching it the other night. I watched Elvis and Babylon, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Let me know when you watch The Whale. All right, guys.
Have you seen it yet?
Nah. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you had a good time. We'll catch you whenever.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I did it again, Jay. Did you notice?
What?
Okay, no. You're bye-bye.
Bye-bye.